Yes, I would like to start from what the comrade Gianni from VioMe said about the history of the relationship in Italy, especially in Emilia-Romagna, between unions, political parties and co-ops, because I come from a country which has a very different story in terms of relationship between workers' co-op and unions. I would say that for years, I would say a century, probably a century, there was no relation between unions and workers' co-op. This is something very new that we see now for some 20 years. But for example, the CGT, Confédération Générale des Travailleurs, which is the equivalent of its CGIL historically here in Italy, starts to come to the Congress of Workers' Co-ops in France. And more than that, I would say that for the past years, we have seen a lot of recuperation of companies in France, pushed by unions, and I would say that in 70%, 80% of the cases, the CGT was on top of this struggle to recover the company. There was two main vectors of recuperation of company in the past 5 years in France. The first one is the company going bankrupt simply, and union struggling to find a solution in order not to find a new owner, but to make workers in a position to take over the business and keep on employment and jobs. And another important vector in this was groups, international groups, wanted to get rid of the production unit. Obviously, probably some of you have heard about the Fabrique case, the Pilpa case, but there are also others which has not been as successful as they were, unfortunately. But we are not going to speak about it. This is not the subject. I think if there is a difference, and this is a point of view probably we have to discuss, is about this degenerations of co-ops here, workers' co-ops here in Italy, is maybe the question of the status of the members in a co-op. I wonder whether, I'm not sure of this about Italy, but I'm totally sure about Spain, that if you are a member of a workers' co-op, you are not under labor laws, but you are an independent worker. In France, this is totally different, and this is very strange from the workers' cooperative movement. They insist that members should work under labor laws, which are much more protected than independent workers. And I think this is probably one of the reasons that even if workers' cooperative in France are not as developed as it is in Italy, the fact is that we do not see what is this? All right. We do not see this type of workers' cooperative being subcontractors of a big group with very harsh condition of labor. We don't see this in France, or very rarely. So this is to say what? This is to say that we are in a period in which labor laws are attacked in every country. I just saw here in Officine Zero, you speak about the Job Act here in Italy. Just to let you know, in France, they just want to get rid of the labor laws of 45, and we have the first movement against this past Wednesday in many cities in France. And I really think that the key question is how to combine labor laws and high standard of labor laws with economic reality of cooperatives on one side, and workers' cooperatives be very, very strong in terms of defending these labor laws. And I know this is not always the case in France, by the way. I would like to conclude about this. Dario spoke about decommunization of labor that capitalism wants to push forward. I think that we have to work on this. Just a little example in France which could be interesting. I would say the goal of capitalism here is to make every worker to break work, labor collectives in order to have all workers be independent worker on this side, totally isolated. What is interesting is that we see to appear coopérative d'activité d'emploi, employment activity and cooperative in France, in which they are very, very keen to defend labor laws, even if the workers are independent and try to make a collective as this. So this is one way. I think there are others, and I think this is something that we need to have some talks in these next hours. Thank you.